Hello to all my fellow slightly or massively non-neurotypical people. Oh, that's a mouthful, I'll have to change that. Hello everyone with ADHD or just interested in the subject. My name is Peter and 3 months ago I have started to make a daily vlog about ADHD and especially about atomoxetine, or as it is commercially known, Strattera, and how it affected me, because I had no one else to test it on. That is in the making. Anyway, after 3 long months, finally I have something to say about it, so drumroll please. Here are the conclusions. So judging by the happy, upbeat, royalty-free music, you probably see that things are not going that bad. And actually they are going pretty well. So why did I stop making the vlog? Well, the reasons will become more apparent when we move on, but I just wanted to quickly apologize, I guess, in the beginning, because it was really not my intention to stop making the vlog. I really wanted to make it daily and just give you the step-by-step of the process, but in the beginning I thought it was just going to be flawless, no hiccups along the way, and that wasn't the case at all. So today I finally have something positive to talk about, and that is that about 2 weeks ago Strattera finally kicked in, and it kicked in big time. So let's get to the nitty-gritty. So after the initial 3 days, or 4 maybe, what happened? Well, things just started to seem normal again, and by normal I don't mean anything good. Actually, they started to be as before. I stopped feeling anything, the side effects went away, and truth be told, even though this is exactly the opposite of what I said in the previous video, I did some more research and it turns out what I felt was most likely placebo. It was reinforced actually by the side effects, because when you feel such massive side effects, it makes you feel like something is happening, right? But realistically, Strattera is not going to work after 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. It's going to take months. For some lucky individuals it may take 1, but for most it will take 2 or maybe even possibly 3, as in my case. So after the initial 3 days I just went on normally. I was still trying to keep somehow to my good routines. I was trying to stave off the depression, and it was working quite well. But then I had to return to full work, which was a different job than I am doing now, and I'm no longer at that job. I will put it like that. It was not possible. It was not possible at that time to do anything this stressful. It was a sales job, and that actually meant that because I in the previous years used to drink quite heavily, I had a couple of drinks. It wasn't too much. It was like 4 or 5 times over the entire 2 months, but it was enough. And it was enough to destabilize me, and one destabilization, as probably many of you know if you have suffered with depression or maybe strong ADHD, it can lead to further destabilization. So drinking leads to slight depression, leads to binge eating, leads to more depression, leads to lack of motivation, leads to totally more depression, leads to... So after about a month I ran out of pills, and because I actually didn't have them, well, I didn't get them quickly enough, I actually had to stop taking them for about 3 days. And I really don't recommend that, because that could have set my progress back a week or even more. So after that, I called my psychiatrist, and he increased my dosage. I was at that time I was at 80, twice 40, and I was increased to 100. And well, it still didn't help. The side effects returned a little bit, but things start to get crazy. It really started to be a roller coaster. This is the second month in, and second month in. So in the other month, which is now almost a month ago, it really got to a point where it was just an emotional ride. I was having mood swings. I was severely depressed at moments that I really didn't understand. I started to notice, like, it was Saturday morning. I woke up and I felt like full of energy, ready to take on the day. And about 2 hours later, within 5 minutes, my mood completely changed for the worse. And I noticed it. That was the only good thing about it, because when I noticed it, I could do something about it. At least I could, check myself. I could control what I was doing. Because believe me, when people don't realize that something wrong is going on with them, then other people around them suffer quite a lot. So it was really horrible. I was starting to think that I must have MDD, like what is it called, major depressive disorder. Like, it was not just ADHD. But over the period of 2 weeks, I did some more research, and I think I underestimated alcohol, and I underestimated how my poor choices in the eating department, in the exercise department. I was just, doing all the things that normally support depressed state, and plus a couple of drinks, and that really, really messed me up. Together with Strattera, who I believe is strongly magnifying these effects. I actually will put a link in the description to another video from another YouTuber who has also had experience with Strattera, and it is really a cautionary tale. And I believe that I know what happened to her, because she had similar mood swings and several depressive episodes, and they were also connected to her starting to binge eat, which is one of the depressing things. Like, normally, even if you're not a depressive person, this is a thing that can cause you to feel depressed. And I believe Strattera is magnifying that effect. So, truth be told, I don't think it's just Strattera, and it was not just like my non-standard eating habits, like really bad eating habits, and it wasn't the alcohol itself. It was the combination of both, and it wasn't good. So in the beginning of the third month, I really didn't know what to do. I was doing the research on the influence of alcohol and the influence of binge eating and stuff like that, but I still was not sure if that's just MDD, maybe anxiety, if I have more stuff, if I will have to get antidepressants for that as well. And after some time, and after getting more research done, actually I contacted the Quit Alcohol coach. I will put a link in the description for him as well, because he also has ADHD. So I believe that to some of you it may be very helpful to learn about his story, especially if you drank alcohol in the past. Anyway, after that, I got basically 100% sure that it is not going to be MDD, that everything is explainable only through ADHD and possibly some alcoholism, possibly some binge eating, possibly some bad habits. All those things together combined to form a profile that actually fit my situation. So I went to see my psychiatrist, and I talked with him about the possibility of giving me Concerta or Ritalin or something like that, an actual stimulant. And it turns out that he's just against that, but that's okay, because that was in the beginning of the first week of the change. And that was the beginning of something that by all means I hope is a long-lasting change. Because 2 weeks ago I had this spark. You know, sometimes when you are feeling depressed or down, or you're just in a bad, dark place, sometimes there is this one day or this one moment when there is like a spark. And you don't have to take it. You can just let it pass and just have a good day. Have a better day than the other days. But at that moment, you are able to do things that you usually are not able to do. And that happened for me about those 2 weeks ago. And I had this weird, like, physical feeling. It was almost like a different side effect. I can't completely describe it. I just felt like something was changing. And this was 3 months into Strattera, and it was about like 1.5 months of like strictly taking it every day, the 100 milligrams, my prescribed dosage. And when I took that spark and I used it, it didn't go away. It didn't go away at all. I started doing all the things that I had to do. I paid the bills that were overdue. I started to exercise. I started to lose weight. Actually, I started to lose weight rapidly. I like undone all the bad gains that I got in the past year, in the past 2 weeks. Fasting mainly. It's just like this clarity. It feels like what people usually describe when they are put on Adderall. Maybe not as extreme, but I just feel like I'm in control of my faculties completely. Like I can use the discipline that I was trying to hammer in my head for the past 3 years with no success. I started to use a notebook that I'm actually using, not for the first day or the second day and then I put it away. No. I'm using it for the whole 2 weeks. That's like a record for me. And it doesn't seem to be slowing down. Like, it seems like Strattera can actually work, but you really, really need to take it. Take it every day. You have to wait a month, 2, or maybe even 3. And possibly it won't work for everyone. Possibly some of you will require Adderall. I don't know. But my case was pretty severe. And if your ADHD is not so bad that you would forget to take your pills and you are actually able to take them and ideally stay sober and try to do as little bad things that make you depressed as possible, because Strattera makes it worse, then I believe that it is a great non-stimulant treatment that can seriously change the ADHD symptoms, but it takes time. So, to conclude, I actually think that Strattera may work. What I told you in the daily vlog was just not really something to keep in mind very much. I believe it was placebo, but now the effects are really solid. If your psychiatrist for any reason describes placebo, I mean Strattera is not placebo. If they describe Strattera as the first line medicine, if they think that Adderall or any stimulant is addictive and possibly like too harsh for your condition, give it a try. If you're not in a crisis situation, if you can honestly give it a month or 2, work on your habits, because that's extremely important. Work on your habits during that time. Try to do as little damage to yourself as possible, and just keep at it. Keep at it for 2 months. I want to say 3 months. And if after 3 months you don't see any change, okay, tell it to your doctor and hope that he's not like mine and he has no problem with amphetamines. Anyway, Strattera. I hope to be making many more videos actually. Not only more in detail about what actually Strattera does, what the different possibilities to treating ADHD are, but also about what you can do from the treatment side of things, from the habit side of things. Actually, I'm thinking of making the next video about how and if actually treatment only, or just, you know, life planning and organization and just trying to get a grip on ADHD without any medication is possible, or if it is advisable. So stay tuned, and if you have any questions about Strattera, I'm very happy to respond. See you later.